All right, welcome to the Talented Ball Project.
The first project.
That's right. So far, we've spent a few hours going over Maya, talking about the user interface and where you can find different things and stuff like that. Well, pretty boring for the most part because we haven't really done anything.
That's right. It's finally time for you guys to get clicking.
That's right. Now, while we are going to have you guys follow along and complete an entire project from start to finish, we will still be introducing a lot of new theory and techniques along the way.
Absolutely. You guys don't know it all just yet.
Yeah, so there will still be quite a few lessons where we're just going to be talking, explaining how various parts of Maya works.
That's right.
So what are we going to be creating in the first project? Well, first of all, it couldn't be anything too complicated because this course is geared for the beginner, the person who has never used Maya before.
That's right.
But at the same time, we didn't want it to be so boring that by the end you said, woohoo, I made a sphere that spun round and round. So Zach and I sat down and we really put our heads together and thought about how could we deliver something that was interesting but at the same time was basic. And one of the things we kept coming up with is, well, just about everybody introduces a bouncing ball right off the bat.
That's right.
So why don't we do something that's bouncing ball-like, except make it a little bit more interesting. And
make
that's
it a
what
little
we've come
more
up with. Yeah, so we've got a project called the Talented Ball, and we've constructed a stage, and you guys will be doing the same real soon. We've added in our lights. We've got a stool and a microphone, and what's going to happen is the ball is just going to burst through the doors, the curtains are going to swing open, the ball's going to come jumping out, jump up on the stool, and do its thing.
Let's go ahead and have a look.
Yeah, let's do it.
We'll go ahead and hit play here on the viewport, and curtains open.
Boom, and in he comes. Yes. And the curtains close back.
And he just kind of sits here because you guys are going to find when you finish this project, it'll be your turn to take over and come up with something interesting for the ball to do once he gets up on the stool.
Right, he kind of becomes a little static once he gets up on top of the top of the stool. But part of one of your homework assignments will be to have him do something that makes him worthy of the name Talented Ball.
That's right.
Right.
And
so
we're going to be walking you guys through every single part of this, everything you see here, from the door flying open, the ball doing his squashing and stretching as he bounces, the curtains swaying, everything is covered in explicit detail.
So as a matter of fact, let's go ahead and give them a quick overview of what's coming up.
Sure.
What we're going to do is start out by talking about storyboards and how important they are. From there, we're going to teach you how to set up a project. You should always set up a project when you are constructing any type of scene in Maya.
It is a must. You absolutely must.
It really is. From there, we're going to dive into a lesson called Building the Set. And in Building the Set, we're going to introduce you guys to objects inside of Maya, how to work with primitive geometry, how to move it around, how to manipulate pivot points, how to snap the geometry. And then from there, once we have a pretty good understanding of how to move all this stuff around, we're then going to start talking about building the set. We're going to walk you guys through constructing the entire set. There will be no animation. There will be no color. Everything's going to be a blah gray.
That's right.
But you will have a final set by the time you get to the end of building the set lesson. From there, we're going to do the animating the scene lesson. And in animating the scene, that's going to be a very long lesson comprised of a lot of videos. Because what we're going to do is we're going to introduce you to the various methods of animating inside of Maya. That's right. There's more than one way to animate something.
Oh, yeah, and we're going to really assume that none of you have ever animated before.
That's right.
So we're going to walk you through every single thing that you need to know to get animating in Maya.
And we're going to start simple, and we're going to make it more complicated and more complicated to the point where we finally have dynamics. We're going to talk about control rigs. We're even going to throw just a tad bit of programming in there, but we are going to leave that part optional.
Right.
Though, again, we're going to hold your hand and walk you through it. So once we make it through the animating the scene lesson, what we'll do is move into the shading the scene lesson. In shading the scene, we're going to introduce you guys to the hypershade. We're going to start talking about surface materials, textures, shaders, etc., and how to create shading networks that we can then apply to our geometry in the scene. Bottom line is, we're going to teach you how to apply color.
That's right.
Once we've done that, we're then going to move into the lighting the scene lesson. And in lighting the scene lesson, we're going to introduce you guys briefly to the 6 different types of lights available in Maya. We're going to show you how the lights emit light, because, of course, each of them are different.
Right.
And then from there, we're going to light our scene. After we've done that, we're going to wrap things up with rendering the scene. And in that lesson, we're going to talk about render globals, about cameras, about the different considerations you need to think about when you're ready to render a scene. And from there, we're going to show you how to do a batch render so that we can render this baby out, and we're done. We have a final, beautiful-looking rendered animation.
we'll be good to go at that point.
Yes, we will.
And we'll all be exhausted.
Yes, we will. So expect this to take many hours because, again, we're going to try to be as thorough as we possibly can.
That's right. It's going to take you several hours just to watch. That's even if you're not following along.
Please do not get discouraged as you're working through the project. Again, there is a rewind button on your video player. Watch something again if it seems to be confusing.
That's right.
It's really important. Please trust me on that. And try not to skip videos if you can help it. Because, some people get all excited and they want to jump all the way, we've modeled the set, let's put some color on it.
That's
get
right.
animation. Now, basically, the way we're putting together all the videos is, in our minds, we are taking into consideration the things we've already talked about. So we're assuming that you are already aware of that.
Every video you watch is going to be cumulative. Not to mention, as we go through, Buzz and I will be dropping in tips, little workflow things that we find will help you work along. So if you start skipping videos, you could miss all that. So please watch all the videos.
And then suddenly, if you skipped a few, you might be, well, they didn't show me that. Well,
that's right.
Yeah, we did.
Yes, we did.
So anyways, very exciting stuff. It's an easy project, but at the same time, it's a project that demonstrates a lot of different things inside of Maya, and that's going to make it real fun. So with that, Zach, let's go ahead and get started, and we'll move into the storyboard.
Okay, let's go.